Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 'Tis I, your host, Corben Simons, and this is the Backstage Pass. Once again, joined by Director of Social Media Marketing, Parker Brown, the hardest working man on the planet. He didn't want me to say that. I had to. Episode 9. One more, and then we're at double digits, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for continuing on, however you're listening. 5-star it, thumbs up, subscribe, wherever you're at. Why not? And, tell a neighbor to do it while you're at it as well. So we have a lot to unpack. It was literally because you guys had a long road trip, necessarily.
Yeah, I'm still tired.
Parker was our eyes on the ground, or whatever they call it, necessarily.
Eyes in the sky.
Eyes in the sky, there you go. Knew I had that wrong.
Get better.
So this past weekend, the 22nd through the 24th, series with the Columbus River Dragons down in Columbus. A 16-hour bus ride?
Yeah. 16, 15, something like that, yeah.
It didn't go as planned. 0-3. Friday, a 5-2 loss. Saturday, an 8-5 loss. And Sunday, a 4-3 loss. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of that in a moment here. But Parker, obviously, since you are eyes in the skies, floor is yours. Take it away. Give us your stance, how it all went, obviously, since you were there.
They were some tough losses, definitely. Mm-hmm. However, if you look at all three of those games and the box score itself, they fought to literally the very end in each of those games.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Friday's game, we were, only 3 points down when we had no points, and I believe the whole first period. And Columbus had a huge start that game. This was the day we literally just got off the bus. And I mean, I can't make excuses because I can't explain more because I don't know how it felt on the ice. Obviously, because I'm not a player. Mm-hmm. But Saturday, there was definitely a different vibe. Very quick goal from Columbus in the beginning there. They got up really fast, and they came, and the guys tried to come back. They almost had it. They really almost had it on Saturday. There was a players meeting. I wouldn't say a players meeting, not like it's a bad situation, but the guys kind of all had a heart-to-heart about what they can do better going on for the rest of the season, and I think the whole locker room just really connected at that point. I think what Vandy told the guys was spot on. Well, obviously spot on with the situation that happened. And you could tell there's a different vibe going into the next day. Obviously Sunday, probably the best game. I think Sunday was the best game we played all season, or not all season, all weekend.
Yeah.
3-3 until literally 58 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, which is just a gut punch in itself.
My God. And, Babs and Rico did one hell of a job with what they had to face.
Oh, yeah.
Babs killed it Friday and Sunday. Rico stepping in had to really just focus up. I mean, that's for those guys, that's an extremely tough team to go up against. Yeah. We got to go up against them this upcoming Friday. But I think, the heartbreak that happened after Sunday is going to carry over on Friday, and we are going to kick their ass.
There you go. I was about to say.
I didn't want to say it. PG. Kids are watching, but we're going to kick their butts. I think Columbus is going to get their 5th loss of the season.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. Because now it's at our home turf necessarily. Exactly. It's not down in Columbus. And if it's one thing,
they get the bus legs this time.
Yes, and they get the little noodle legs. They get the little restless day or whatnot. And I think that's one thing that the Rockers have proven, that if they were to go to another team's arena, stadium, however you want to label it, and they kind of get beaten up a little bit, when it comes time for them to come over here, it's a different ball game. And obviously they had shown that with Columbus earlier, about a month or so ago. Mm-hmm. Obviously the 8-0 loss, and everyone kind of thought, there's a bunch of Columbus fans kind of chirping in my ear in the stands that next day. And
you don't want to know how it was there, man.
I can only imagine. if that's how they were here, and I'm not even a player on the team necessarily or whatnot, I can only.
We're gonna cut this, but they can't speak straight English, so.
I don't doubt that. But overall, I definitely agree with you. I think Friday it's the one game that we'll be playing against Columbus. Obviously, we'll get into that later on in the preview and whatnot. But I could definitely see, and even if they were to come up short, it's going to be like how these 3 games went, fighting until literally the last possible second necessarily, not necessarily letting adversity get the best of them, but kind of overtaking adversity within themselves. So let's kind of go down to the nitty-gritty of each game. Friday, like I said, 5-2 loss. Overall, just a strong Columbus performance. The goals were scored by Danny Vanderweel and Avery Smith. Avery Smith, who's having a heck of a start.
Really hot start.
Yeah, with the Rockers. Obviously, let's hope that he kind of keeps that up amongst the playoff push coming up. Rockers scored their the 2 lone goals in the third period. Assists from Declan Conway, Scott Koash, Nicholas Miguel Diaz. And then obviously, even though letting in 5, still down performance, 37 saves from Trevor Babin, as you had mentioned. And I'll even kind of go to a little spoiler for that Sunday game. He had 47 saves, which is just ridiculous. And then Saturday, Columbus just held it down, just 8 goals. That's kind of a consistent performance right there. Got to give flowers where it's due. Out of the 3 stars of the game, the Rockers did come out with one, and the second star being Nick Gullo with 3 points. He had 2 goals and 1 assist. Aside from his 2-goal performance, the other goals were scored by Scott Koash, Nicholas Miguel Diaz, and Lane King. Lane King, another player who is obviously showing up and showing out. And assists from 2 from TJ Sneath, 1 from Nick Gull, as I had mentioned earlier, Pavel Svinstov, TJ Delaney, Scott Koash, and Jamison Milam, and obviously Ricardo Gonzalez within the post that night, 27 saves. And then finally Sunday, as Parker had said, literally with 58 seconds left, an absolute heartbreaker for Columbus to take the lead and inevitably the win. But TJ Sneath came out with the second star of the game, 3 points in all, 2 goals, 1 assist. And aside from his 2 goals, Declan Conway scored the other goal, and the assists were from TJ Sneath as well, as I had said. And then Lane King and Danny Vanderweel both with 2. And kind of neat, they also assisted the last 2 goals for the Rockers. Kind of a little something, I like to see there. And then, as I had mentioned, a little spoiler alert, 47 saves from Trevor Babin. So, the score lines can be how they are when you look at it from face value. But, of course, when you look to see how the games were played, I think that's something that can get lost within the final score, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, I think we have said that many, many times to the Rockers, and that's not even from a biased standpoint, because obviously, we work for both teams. Obviously, we're repping them in each episode and whatnot. But this team fights, and I do agree. Well, I'll save this more for the preview talk necessarily. But before we get into that, obviously, we do have the interview with Roman Gaudet. You guys do not want to miss that coming up. And after 52 games played, the record stands as 23-23-6 for the Rockers. Still with the playoff spot. Now only 2 games ahead of Danbury, though. Well, 2 points, actually. My apologies. So, of course, some ground needs to be made there.
We need to win this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend is a must-win. The rest of the season, 4 games left. You got 1 against Columbus, 1 against Binghamton. Obviously, those 2 are this weekend. Next weekend, which is the 6th, we have the week off. No games that week. And then, of course, the following weekend after that, 2 against Port Huron, which, if I'm not mistaken, are both home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, home stretch.
No, one of them's home.
Saturday's
home.
Okay, Saturday's home. You guys definitely don't want to miss that one to end the season. So just straight up, 3 out of 4 games being home. Big home push right there. And, it doesn't matter.
Final stretch.
Yeah, final stretch. It does not matter whether a playoff spot is clinched or not. There is ground that needs to be made to keep that 2 seed intact. But before we get all that fun stuff and looking ahead... Oh,
I have something else. So, how we were talking about Miguel Diaz's goal. In specific, I got to talk with Gordy today after practice. After practice today, and he broke down that play to me, actually. So what Nick Miguel, I don't know if you saw the goal that happened that game, but so Diaz is right by the blue line. One of the guys from Columbus tries to come up on Diaz. He has to break and move back as Diaz is moving towards the wall. And this is literally a drill they work on in practice. Diaz is going down the side of the wall. The guy is right there. They start to collapse on him, and he actually gets the top far side of the corner on the net, which was something that Gordy was really impressed, and he thought that was. Hold on, let me restate that. He was really infatuated with how that goal, that practice, that drill that they've been working on for so long with Diaz and with other defensemen really played out perfectly in that scenario with Columbus. And, and the Fed gets a huge bad rap for, these guys don't work hard. If they don't work hard and Diaz made that play, that goal wouldn't have went in. Obviously, these guys care.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just I'm also just rambling because this is stuff I've heard.
Yeah.
These guys literally work their butts off to be where they are today, and obviously some of them have had the chance to go into higher leagues. Babin most recently was in the ECHL for their St. Patty's game. So, I think I wanted to commemorate Diaz just on that great play that he made this weekend.
Oh, yeah. And, I definitely agree with you whether, it's the NHL or not. These players give it their all, day in and day out. You see it in practice. Obviously, certain clips that you have posted from practice, just kind of showing off, them with their talents necessarily.
I'm not going to do any more so they don't get any film on us.
Yes. Get out of here, Bill.
Get out of here.
You're not getting any tape.
Get out of here.
But, yeah, no, this team, regardless of whether – if the day ends in Y, the Rockers are giving it their all. That's how I look at it. And they've shown it consistently and whatnot. And I'm very excited to see how these, last 4 games go, because obviously right now if I'm not mistaken, they are on a 5-game skid right now. No, not if they were to 3. If they were to lose, I was kind of getting a little ahead of myself.
You were really ahead of yourself.
Yeah, my apologies.
We're not in the preview section.
Yeah,
we're not in the preview segment.
Yes, we are not.
We're 2 segments ahead.
I know. I gotta rewind myself back a little bit there. But I'll say that for the preview right there. Let's get into the fun interview with Roman Gaudet. So stay tuned for that, and then keep on by afterwards to see what I have to say about the preview. You guys don't want to miss that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now is the interview portion of Backstage Pass, and today I am joined by Roman Gaudet. Roman, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
First off, I'm just going to go with a question I don't have prepared. How does it feel to live with such a badass first name like Roman? I've always thought you see like Roman Reigns these days, WWE wrestler. And I feel like we can just go down. Like, how does it like?
It's been nice, honestly. Growing up, I didn't hear it a lot, so it's pretty rare that I came across another Roman. But now, like you mentioned, Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
He's one of the first I've heard with my name. So
really,
I don't see it that often, to be honest.
I feel like I don't know why. Maybe it's just the path that I've been on in life. I feel like I probably have met like maybe like 1 or 2 aside from you.
Okay.
But just in like terms of like pop culture and stuff, I've always seen it around. And whatnot.
Yeah.
And then I've always thought I was like
up there.
I know, and you always hear like Roman Empire, shit like that. So
they made a Valentine card for that.
Let's take it back. We're going to go all the way back. We got a time machine right now to when you had played for Little Caesars AAA Hockey Club.
Yeah.
You played against some players who have reached the NHL, some names including Kyle Connor, who plays for the Winnipeg Jets, Detroit's own Dylan Larkin.
Yeah.
Looking back on that time, what does it mean to you that you throughout this journey you've been on within your hockey career that you've played against some names that have done, went on to the league of some sort?
It's definitely special. It was cool to see them all succeed and get there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were all chasing the same dream growing up, so it's definitely cool to see people make it to that level. So that was definitely nice.
And you have also played with Darren McCarty's kid.
Yeah, I did. I played with Griffin McCarty growing up. We were real young then, probably like 9 or 10, but I played a little bit with Griffin growing up too, yeah.
Then did you ever, because obviously I would say that you're someone who has a good hockey knowledge. Was there ever a moment like where you played with these guys growing up and you kind of thought like, these guys, they're going to...
Oh, there was definitely moments like Kyle Connor. He definitely sticks out for me. Like he just was one of those guys you kind of see it going through all of the motions and stuff. He just had it. And then another one that comes to mind is Zach Werenski.
Okay.
He always played a level up, so he's always playing with the 96s, and he was just unbelievable. You kind of just knew like he's going. He's for sure going there.
Fun fact, little degree of separation, whatever the hell they call it, closing up. I actually worked with Kyle Connor's brother.
Oh, no
for a
way.
bit. Yeah,
that's
awesome.
awesome.
He was a busser at a restaurant I worked at.
No way. That's
and,
wild.
I had a coworker that would always be like, his brother's in the NHL. And I never
Yeah.
believed it because I didn't really watch hockey at the time.
Yeah.
And I looked up one day and I was like, oh, shit, no way.
He's killing it, too.
Oh, yeah. So obviously, overall, you've had an interesting career path regardless.
Yeah.
And after playing in a bunch of various leagues ever since you were little and whatnot, what has helped you kind of remain the same person/player that you are today?
I definitely have to say my mom. She kind of always just kept me back and, made sure I knew who I was and just kept me grounded for the most part. So I'd have to give her the credit for that because I did tend to get a little bit of a big head when I was younger, especially going in like the USHL and stuff like that. So I tended to get a little bit of a big head, but she calmed me down a bit.
So in that case, what is your advice to any young players or viewers in general out there in terms of sports to kind of make sure that they never get too ahead of themselves?
I would just say stay grounded, stay true to yourself, and always just be yourself, and just keep working hard, keep your head down, and just keep grinding. That's the best way to do it.
And
Here we are.
Might as well say too, I really like. I haven't seen these hats around the Carhartt.
These are
ones.
from last year. We got these last year.
Yeah,
The
those are nice.
Carhartt
I
ones.
think in general the hat's nice. I think it's the Carhartt that
Yeah.
kind of makes it pop a little
Yeah,
bit.
we got these last year. I don't know if they made them this year, but they brought us in the locker room last year and they gave us all Carhartt. So
I haven't seen it,
it's
so I'm gonna have
pretty
to go sift through the
you have to
archives
take a
of the
look
team
through
and
'em,
whatnot. So obviously as of right now, where the current stat line is for you, you have more assists than goals. Is there anything within your style of play that you've kind of Well, first off, what do you focus on in your style of play? And secondly, have you ever looked at yourself as kind of more of a facilitator first than, ultimately score?
Definitely. I consider myself a playmaker.
Okay.
I've told a couple of the boys in the locker room, I don't know what it is, but everyone loves scoring goals. I mean, me too, right? Like, it's a good feeling. But to me, like, that assist is just a whole nother level. I don't know why, but I just love getting assists. So I definitely consider myself a playmaker.
Does it kind of give you like a moment where you're like, like I made that happen?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, kind of. You got to control the play a little bit. You're the reason that player got into the position they were. You're just a help for that player to get the goal. So it's just a good feeling for me.
And ultimately, too, like, if aside from passing, of course, obviously you said you like to facilitate.
Yeah.
What is one other aspect of your play that you would kind of credit yourself as, that you look highly of?
I think I've started getting a little bit better at banging the body, throwing my body around a little bit. So I'd say checking. I'm trying to hit more. Definitely hurt some guys out there if I can,
And obviously, I'm assuming that the large height stature definitely helps in that department.
And that was a big thing growing up. They always wanted me to hit more, so I just never really did. I don't know why, but I grew up kind of being the skill guy, playmaker, goal scorer, whatever. And one thing the scouts always wanted me to do was hit, and I just never did it. I guess now I'm trying to. So a little late, but, better late than never. So.
Now, have you always been tall in your hockey career?
Yeah, I've always been one of the tall guys for sure.
Interesting. If you don't mind me asking, when did you necessarily hit your growth spurt within it?
See, that's where it's like weird. Like looking back in time, I don't really know when I hit like the spur, but growing up, I was just always the tall guy on my team. I was always the biggest one. Or even once I got into juniors, I think when I got in the USHL, I was 6'4", so I've just always been like that big guy.
And the only other taller person on the team that I have had the chance to interview so far is Tristan Wells. Obviously, you guys are about like the same height or whatnot, maybe an inch or so off.
Yeah.
I had asked him in the past if being tall gave him any advantages, and he explained that. In your case, what's an advantage that you found?
Protecting the puck.
Okay.
I can hide the puck pretty easy with my body, and it's a lot harder for players to get it away, especially being such a big guy. So it's a huge boost with having a couple extra inches for sure.
Now, obviously, because I would definitely say that I'm taller than the average person ever at 6'3" or whatnot. Have you ever played hockey and went up against someone and they were taller than you, and does it kind of shake your boots a little bit?
A little bit. Wellesley and TJ came to the team. They're both a little bit taller than me. They're huge, man. It's wild when you come across, especially being one of the bigger guys growing up. Like when you finally do come across someone taller than you, it's a little wild.
Now, in terms of preparation for a game or whatnot, what do you do on a day-to-day basis before a game, and do you have any superstitions that you kind of like to check the box on? I
definitely got to get my little nap in before the game, but as far as superstitions go, no, not really. I'm pretty laid back when it comes to getting prepared for the games.
Okay.
When I get to the rink, I'll tape up 1 or 2 sticks maybe, and then play some sewer with the boys, but other than that, I'm having a cup of coffee. Pretty laid back. I like to stay pretty calm before the game. So
now, how long of a nap are we talking here? A little cat nap or
like an hour and a half nap?
Okay,
something like that.
Okay.
Nothing too long, but nothing too short. So
I think the hour and a half, I remember correctly from my AP psychology, I think that helps with the REM.
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
a perfect cycle or whatnot.
Yeah, get a good little sleep in before the game. It's not bad.
And now, obviously, I know in the locker room you guys have your music blaring in,
Yeah.
in terms of a speaker, but have you ever kind of channeled in your own, slap some headphones on?
Yeah, I put AirPods in. I'm in my own zone in the locker room. Most of the time I have AirPods in. So
Now, give us your top 3 go-to get ready for the game songs.
Oh, man. I just put it on shuffle, to be completely honest. I'll go to like Meek Mill and then just put it on shuffle.
Okay.
So that's what it's been lately, at least. The Babs will like that one. So.
Interesting. Oh yeah, Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't know if I have
there.
like a top 3. That's I don't know. I just let it shuffle.
So you just kind of just let it ride, let the playlist go.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
And do you have like a particular place, or are you kind of like an album person?
Yeah, anything really, just random. I wouldn't say album specifically.
Okay.
Just kind of all over the map when it comes to music. I even listen to Fleetwood Mac sometimes before the game.
Really?
So
I respect that.
I'm kind of all over the map when it comes to that.
You gotta switch up the vibe,
Yeah,
you know.
I never know where I'm gonna be at before the game, so the music switches up quite a bit.
So in general, before we get to some fun, get to know you questions,
Yeah.
what is your favorite aspect about being a Motor City Rocker?
Oh, I love it. Just this atmosphere, and I've heard about some other organizations in the league, and it just sounds like we got a really good thing going here. So it's just so much fun, man, and especially the fans that we are starting to build up here. It's just great, especially seeing the returning fans come back. Yeah. So it's just been awesome. Just a good environment.
And in general, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I've had these interview questions for you ready for a minute, and I don't know why I'm kind of overthinking this.
No, you're fine.
Why number 61?
Oh, man. I don't. If I'm being completely honest, I would like to switch it.
Okay.
I wanted to be 13 or 22, but being a rookie, I was still kind of. We had Tim Perks possibly coming back. Dante started with us again.
Yeah.
They had 13 and 22 taken, so I just didn't want to be 10 again. So I was just kind of trying to switch it up, and I came up with 61.
Just have you ever been 61 in your career?
Never. Not a single time. Never.
Not even like a number 16, switching it up? Because some players have mentioned doing that or whatnot with their numbers.
Always 22 my whole life. And then my brother, he was a hockey player as well. He got a concussion. He got knocked out of hockey. Yeah. So I kind of took over his number for him because he wore 13. So I just started wearing 13 from that day on.
I gotta give this one. I'm a big 22. That's my favorite number right there. Now
22 my whole life. Yeah.
Now, has 22 ever kind of, is that always... like kind of like a number that's always stuck with you, or like is there any meaning behind that?
So the meaning behind that is actually when I was growing up, my dad was good friends with this. His name's Rocky Trache. He's brothers of Brian Trache, and his brother had a son named Jordy, and I don't know why, but as a kid he was like my idol, and he wore number 22. His name's Jordy Trache. So he never made it big. I think he played some coast maybe, but. That was the reason. I was just obsessed with this guy. Like, he was my idol growing up. So I took 22 on because that's what he wore. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird reason, but yeah, that's what it was.
Some of the numbers, obviously the Elias Thompson interview. Yeah. We went all down with the number rabbit hole with that and whatnot. Man,
yeah, he'll go on forever.
So now it's time for the fun get to know you questions for the audience, just to know Roman a little bit better.
Absolutely.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think we had Jameson on recently. Well, Parker had interviewed him, and if I'm honest, he's from Michigan as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure you're like our second interviewee from Michigan. Okay. Everyone else so far has been out of state, out of town, and whatnot.
I'm actually born in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Are you really?
Yeah, I grew up in Fisher, Carmel area, and then now my family lives in a town called Mooresville.
Okay.
So I was not born in Michigan, but I did grow up here.
That's interesting because when on your stat line, when your bio, when I got Flat Rock, Michigan.
Yeah, I won't lie. I made a little joke last year. I just put Flat Rock as a joke, and now it's stuck. Like this year when we filled them out, I fixed it. I put Mooresville, but it just never changed.
Wait, so you've never grew up in Flat Rock?
Never.
Wow!
I did not grow up in Flat Rock.
Keep me on my toes with this. I like it actually. I was not expecting this whatsoever.
I got a buddy over there, but no, I didn't grow up there. No.
So strictly Indiana.
I'm from Indiana. I would say I did grow up in Michigan though. See, we moved here for hockey when I was like 8 or 9. Little Caesars asked me to come play for them. Yeah. And so as soon as I made juniors though, so I was like here for 5-6 years maybe. Okay. Something like that. So I guess you could say I grew up here a little bit, but I'm not from here, no.
Okay, and while playing for Little Caesars, where'd you live at in Michigan?
We lived in Plymouth, Waterford, Livonia, Westland. We were kind of all over the map.
All over the map.
Over.
And so obviously right now you're playing in Motor City, obviously in Michigan and whatnot. So of course you had played there when Little Caesars asked you to come on over or whatnot. So what does it kind of mean to eventually, get back to this position of, living in Michigan, playing for a Michigan-based team?
That was a huge pull for me, to be honest. Like, when I saw that the Motor City, because I had just gone on, I had honestly never heard of the Fed, and I went on and just started looking it up, and I saw, like, the new team in Motor City in Michigan, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I actually grew up playing a little bit at this rink. I came here for tournaments and stuff all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the time.
Full circle of life moment right there.
So when I saw they were playing out of Fraser, I was like, oh, I gotta go try. Like, that's gotta be the place to go try out for.
Yeah.
So it's just it's wild. Last year it hit me a lot for sure, being in the same place for sure.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Now, did you ever kind of, because I know for some people a different venue kind of send some chills down their spine, little spooks. Were you kind of just like, this feels like home? Like
yeah, it just felt right. It was still like all the nerves. I get nerves every game though, to be honest. But yeah,
really?
Yeah, it's just kind of a thing. I guess I just get a little nervous before every game. They go away fast, but I do remember it was definitely special last year. The first game we played here, for me at least, because I hadn't played here in years at that point. So that was special for me. It was really cool. That game, I'll say I had some chills. Yeah.
Now, to go off a little tangent there because of the nerves. I respect that because you're the first person to kind of admit that on this show. And one thing that I've always seen throughout, like, just athletes in general, how they handle their nerves. Have you ever been, like, the type to puke before a game or whatever?
No,
You're not
nothing
one of
like that. I guess it would just be like a little shake in your boots almost, kind of, You're not, like, scared or anything like that. It's just you want to do good, right? So
like first day of school jitters, kind of.
Exactly. You're kind of building yourself up on the inside, and you just need to get out there and get it going.
Yeah.
Just like first day of school, just walk in, you'll get it over with. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, in terms of height, we had mentioned earlier Tristan Wells, of course, because he's the only other tall individual I would say that I've had on this show as an interviewee. Do you agree with the twin comparisons you both get?
I see it a little bit, especially when he does the mustache, like the straight mustache. Like, I always just have the muzzy going. So when he goes and does that cut, I see it then. I've had, oh my gosh, there's so many stories of people thinking I'm him, especially when I come up to the bar after the games here. But it's just, it's been wild. But I do see it a little bit, for sure.
And speaking of the mustache, I actually do have a question for that. Do you keep up with it? Because obviously it's a lovely mustache, may I say. So, like, do you kind of like...
It's tough, man, but I do keep up with it. I try to keep it as good as I can, but...
Okay.
Yeah, I might have to go to Babs one of these times. He said he'll trim me up a little bit, so...
Oh, really? He's got some...
Apparently.
Interesting.
He's got a nice... He lines it up perfect, so I'll trust him with the mustache.
Now, have you ever tried to get a little, like, funky with it, like the little curls?
I want the curls so bad.
You want that?
I would love that. I just don't know how to get to that point.
I feel like you gotta get, like, a little bit thicker. And then,
like, I had it so puffy at one point, and it was just too hard. Like, it was going in the mouth. It was too stressful, so I trimmed it. But, yeah, I would love to get the curls. I think that'd look awesome.
Now, for any facial groomers out there, I guess is the best way to put it. What's your advice to them to kind of keep a good stash going and consistent too?
I'm terrible at it. It took me years to get this thing going. If you can't grow hair very well right now, just keep shaving it and then let it grow and then shave it, let it grow. That's how I ended up getting the mustache. I just kept shaving it all the time, and then eventually I had a mustache. So that's my only tip, to be honest. Other than that, best of luck keeping it clean, man. It's tough. It's hard to trim. I'm still learning, so I definitely don't have any pointers for that.
And do you when is it your time to know that you kind of have to shave all the rest around, get it back to just a stash?
I just shave as soon as I start seeing it too much, honestly. Like, once it's poking out too much, I just get rid of it because I just want just the stash out. Yeah. That's all. Once you have everything gone, it just shines. So that's my go-to.
You see, I like how you said to keep shaving because I'm at that point where,
shaving.
I get all of it right here, but, this is still a work in progress.
It'll come back, I'm telling. Just keep
Parker
shaving.
had a kick-ass mustache not that long ago, though.
Yeah, you did.
Behind the camera.
It wasn't bad.
You
gotta
bring it back. You do have to bring it back.
I don't know why people only do it for 1 month. Like, let's get it going.
Exactly.
It was a phase.
So, obviously, throughout trivia and whatnot, people have always been asked, Parker over here is asking, what everyone's favorite food is or whatever on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we got yours yet. So, what's your favorite food and or meal?
Favorite food? Meal, chicken Alfredo. Go-to every time. It's the best thing out there.
Have you ever because I'm a big Alfredo fan. I like shrimp in mine.
Shrimp's good too.
Have you ever, kind of try to dabble more with it, or is you just kind of you gotta keep it with the chicken?
Basic. I go chicken or shrimp. I can't get mad at the shrimp either, to be honest. The shrimp's good too, but yeah, chicken Yeah, every time I keep it the same.
Where's the best chicken Alfredo you've had from?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to think on that because I don't want to say Olive Garden because I don't think they're the best. But I can't think of the name of some of the Italian restaurants I've been to off the top of my head.
Food. I've been told that you're kind of a baker. Is that
I love
correct?
bacon, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, so share with that. Like, well, how did that start? And like,
Right before,
what do you like to make?
Right before I went to the USHL, it was my birthday, and my mother came home with a bundle of just baking stuff, pans, everything you need, right?
Yeah.
And I was super into like making realistic stuff, so like I'd use fondant and stuff like that. Like the first thing I made was these apple cupcakes.
Okay.
And I made them in the shape of apples, and then I used red fondant around it, a little like Tootsie Roll, I think, for the stem.
Ooh.
Just stuff like that. I would just get realistic. I like to get realistic with it. I haven't done it in forever, but I bet I could still do it.
How long ago has it been?
Since I did anything like that, probably like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did it for my mother's birthday one year.
And obviously, baking that kind of goes towards, the more like desserty, sweet side.
Yeah.
But have you ever kind of dabbled more, like in terms of cooking and whatnot, like maybe with like a barbecue or something?
No, honestly, I haven't gotten too crazy with it. Like I can make fettuccine, obviously, Alfredo. I can make that from scratch. But as far as cooking itself, no, I was definitely more into like the baking for some reason. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to me. I don't know.
Would you ever think about like like later down the road when the hockey career's all over, just kind of just get into Roman's Bakery or something?
Definitely a thought, brother. Definitely a thought. I've had that cross my mind before.
Speaking of options, growing up, if hockey was never an option for sports, which sport do you think you'd be playing?
Oh, I was playing basketball for sure. My mother, she played Division I for Indiana University. So
nice.
I played basketball growing up until I was 13-ish, right around that age. So right before I went to the USHL is when I stopped playing basketball. So I for sure would have just kept going with that.
Interesting. And growing up as well, obviously you saying you grew up in Indiana, they never, at least to my knowledge, never had a professional hockey team. So which team would you kind of root for growing up?
We had a pro team, actually. As a kid, they were the Indianapolis Ice. And
they were never with the NHL though, right?
No, I think they were... I might be mistaken, but I think WHL maybe or something like that, like one of those minor leagues.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had the Indianapolis Ice. They were pretty cool to watch. It was one of those leagues kind of similar to the Fed, a little rougher, a little tougher.
Yeah.
So it was one of those leagues. So it was fun to go watch those. But yeah, I used to watch those games growing up all the time.
Interesting.
And then being in Plymouth, I'd watch the Whalers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
So then at the same time as well, who was your favorite hockey player growing up?
Growing up, it would have been Peter Forsberg or Bob Probert.
Okay.
I loved Bob Probert, loved Peter Forsberg, and then grew to love Pavel Datsyuk. So that's my top three.
You can always love Pavel.
That's my lifetimers right there. Those are the three.
And when you're not playing hockey, what does Roman like to do in his free time?
I like to read, watch shows, hang out with the boys.
You got any show recommendations right now?
My favorite show of all time, honestly, is New Girl. So
really? It's a hell of a show.
I'd recommend New Girl to everyone. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's the best show out there.
It is a very, very
or
fun
maybe
show.
throw in Parks and Rec or something.
So you're more into the comedy side?
Love the comedies. But then I like horror too, or crime shows. Really like crime shows a lot.
Interesting.
Been getting into those quite a bit lately.
What about the dramas?
Not too much, no.
Interesting.
I stay away from those.
Interesting. So last question here, Roman. Once again, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being such an amazing guest. We'll end it here. What is your favorite all-time hockey memory? It can be whether you've watched, whether you've played, anything. What is one moment that stands out?
Favorite all-time memory would have to be the Pee Wee Quebec tournament.
Okay.
I think I was 12 years old and I was playing for Bell Tire. That was one of the years I got to play with all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had Dill on our team, Kyle Connor, Wawrinski, all those guys. But we ended up going to the Pee Wee Quebec tournament, and that itself it's even hard to explain, but it's basically a trip where you get to go play a tournament in Quebec, and you're playing for a huge thing. But realistically, all it is you get to play in front of all these fans. Like, I think my last game there, we had like 6,000 or 7,000 people watching the game.
Yeah.
For these Pee Wee kids, like, so that was just life-changing in itself. And then on top of that, you get to live with a Quebec family for the week, so you're away from your parents. It's kind of your first experience with billeting almost, which is their point. They're trying to get you ready for juniors, but it was just incredible. That was definitely a life-changing experience for me.
Interesting.
So,
well, yeah, but thank you once again
Appreciate
for coming
you.
on. It's been a hell of a time. And you guys do not want to miss Parker and I previewing this upcoming weekend's game, so stay tuned for that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the interview with Roman Gaudet. Once again, Roman, if you're watching this, thank you for tuning on and joining us. So now it is the preview part. Oh, excuse me. The part that I was kind of getting a little ahead of myself earlier, obviously.
Yeah, a little bit.
So what I had meant necessarily about saying 5, even though it's 3, is, now I don't know off the top of my head what the longest losing streak that the Rockers have dealt with this season. By any chance, do you know off the top of your head or no?
No, I don't.
So, obviously, this upcoming weekend, Friday, Columbus, best team in the league. And then up against Binghamton, second best team in the league?
Yeah.
And so, it's a very, very tall order before, regardless of how this weekend goes, a much needed break off next weekend. And before the 2, last games against Port Huron necessarily. But yeah, you don't want to get to a 5-game skid, especially with 2 games left, and especially with Danbury kind of now being,
knocking at our door.
Yeah, knocking at the back door too, which is the scariest door to be knocking on, especially when you don't know what's going on there.
Have you ever seen Halloween? He always knocks at the back door.
Exactly.
I don't even think he knocks, but
it's the scariest.
He's standing there.
Yeah, front door it's okay. Because you can just look around your neighbors.
Look in the little peephole.
Yeah, but the back, you went to the back door? Hell
dude,
no.
That's a whole window. That's a whole window pane. They're just.
Yeah, we don't want that there, and especially a little bit scary when we've played 52 and they played 51. So obviously they got a little extra game up on us in that sense. So I guess it's just kind of everyone and their mother knows and their grandmother knows that this weekend is a big weekend. You at least have to come away with 1 win. I don't care. Come away with 2, whoop-de-doo, we're all partying. Come away with 1, we're cool. We'll leave it at that. You come out with none, then next week's episode is gonna be a little bit of a horror fest in a way. Yeah, that'll be the vibe right there. We'll just be screaming the whole time for a solid 40 minutes, interviewing everything. Tall task. You don't want to get too back, as I'll say, because obviously you want to get far ahead, but necessarily that might not be the case. I don't know, because who's Danbury play this upcoming weekend?
Watertown and Binghamton. Well, no, just Watertown this week.
So it's Watertown, which, all up to Watertown, gotta give them flowers for credit because they have put up some battles. But who knows how Danbury's necessarily feeling.
Hold on, brother.
We are getting fact-checked.
Hold on, brother.
But yeah, it's a little scary, as I'll say, where they're at. The thing that makes me feel a little bit better about it is that it is home games for the Rockers this upcoming weekend. We do have $2 beer night on Friday, and it is throwback night on Saturday.
Just Watertown.
Just Watertown? Okay, yeah. So Danbury, just Watertown, which, those games can go however, but obviously, a little, respectfully, a little cake. A little cake for Danbury, I'll be honest here. This is an honesty pod / show.
They play Binghamton 3 more times.
Which we like that.
We like that.
We like that.
We like that.
Shout out Kirk Cousins, getting a bag even at 36 years old.
You like that?
But yeah, it's overall it's a little frightening with how this weekend looks from paper value. But I have faith. So with that being said, let's get crazy with the predictions.
Oh, jeez.
Let's get crazy. Let's go game by game since it's only 2.
Dude, I don't think we. Wait. Did either of us get any?
I think I may have had a Lane King one. I know our records.
Records now.
Yeah, records now. I think Lane King, I said he would have like a point or something.
Which he did.
He did.
I think I said Scotty.
Yeah, which he got a point. So whether
he had a goal.
He had a goal. Yeah, so you may have said goal too, because
I don't remember, but
I think I may have said that too because we had him on the show last week, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
dude, the trend continues.
The train does continue. Keeps on moving.
Choo, get on.
But yeah, no. So let's go game. I'll go game by game. Why not? Because I think you started last week with your predictions.
I
so
did. I jumped on.
Yes.
Applause.
So Friday, March 29th, against Columbus River Dragons. I'm
what?
gonna
repeat. You said Columbus.
I said Columbus.
Yeah.
Columbus River Dragons. I like to form my words together as one. I'm gonna go with the win. Am I getting ahead of myself? We'll see in due time. But I kind of like your rationale behind it earlier. A little bad taste with how last weekend went. Now you're in our home. Now we're gonna take advantage of that necessarily. So I'm going with the win. The score, I'm going to go 4-3, kind of a repeat of Sunday. A little flip-flop action, man in the mirror. Shout out Michael Jackson. And in terms of who to look for that game, I'm going to go Lane King again. I'm kind of on the Lane King high right now, On that Lane King high. And, I'm going to stay there at the same time as well. Actually, I'll save this guy for Saturday. So let's move on to Saturday. Why not? I'm a little crazy here. 2 wins. We're going to go for a sweep here. Why not? We're going to get the vibes back going. Am I ahead of myself, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to be Mr., the glass isn't half full. It's completely full this time, all right? We haven't sipped on the water, but now we're going to start sipping soon. So Saturday, I'm going to go with the win against Binghamton. This time, 2-1. I think it's going to be very defensive. Defense wins championships, ladies and gentlemen. And the guy who I was going to mention for Friday to look for, Saturday I'm going to be 2. I'm going to be 2 players to look out for. One being Avery Smith, who I was going to mention. He's on a tear.
Okay.
So, either the flame dies out or the flame continues. And I'm all for that flame to keep going, Keep throwing the wood in the fire. Keep it going. And Nick Gullo, coming off a big game, what was it, last Saturday, if I remember correctly.
3 points, yep.
And I'm going to say he continues that. Whether it be a goal or an assist, I don't know. But it's going to be 2 points. It's going to be a 2-point day for Nick. A little Nicky Nick action. And, yeah, I guess those are going to be. I'm going to go 2 wins. Rockers are back. How Danbury does this weekend, we don't know. We don't care. We'll figure that out next Tuesday as we're recording episode number 10, double digits, Oh, yeah, it does look like that when I put it up. Perfect. So overall, 2 wins. Shout Lane King, shout Avery Smith, shout Nick Gullo. It's going to happen right there.
Friday. They're not on bus legs. This is the second game they're actually playing that weekend. Columbus. They play Port here on Thursday.
They got a Thursday game?
Correct. So, I think it's gonna be a tough battle. However, I think I'm gonna agree with you on the score. 4-3 Rockers win.
I like that. Hive mind. I like it.
I think. I don't think we're gonna get all 3 stars. I don't.
Okay. That's cool. As long as we get the win.
I think we're gonna have 2 of the 3 stars. One of them being. TJ Sneath has been on a tear getting stars. So is Avery Smith.
Yes.
However, I think our number 1 star of the game is going to be Mr. Big Man himself, mic'd up himself, TJ Delaney.
Okay.
I think he's going to have I don't know about number 1 star, but I think he's going to have a goal.
Okay. When we like that, we like that. Listen, your stars, going back to elementary, when they're like, put a star on the board. You did so well. It only matters so much until the teacher rips the stars off by the end of the week. We like wins.
Yeah.
We like wins.
Dubs last longer than stars.
Exactly. Stars are made out of stickers. They have adhesive. They stick right off. Wins are there. They're permanent.
Going into Saturday against the Binghamton Black Bears.
Yes.
I think this... So last time we played Binghamton at home, I believe we beat them.
We did. We did take a game.
It was a physical game.
It was
and I
very
think
physical.
The physicality of this team is more physical than them.
Yeah. I've been seeing more bodies flying around the past couple of weeks.
Should have saw the body that Ryan Rotundi had this weekend. Dude literally threw this guy in the glass.
Defense and physicality wins championships.
Yeah, it does. I think
kids.
this is going to be the most physical game of the year.
Whoa.
I think we're going to go a 3. However, as much as a physical game, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a 3-2 loss.
3-2 loss. I think this might be the... Listen, we've been honest before being like, it'll be maybe we'll lose a game or something. I think this is the first time in this show, it took 9 episodes for one of us to say, we're losing a game.
I love the guys. They know I love them.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 3-2 loss.
3-2 loss? Okay, hey, like I said earlier, this is an honesty pod. We're honest here, all right? We're not we're completely honest all the times.
I think that game... Who do I think? You know what I'm going to say? Jonathan Giuliano, 2 points.
Oh, if we're back on the Jonathan Giuliano's 2-point train, I had to stop because I started jinxing it.
He got. I don't know how many points he got this weekend, but he got points. I know that. Jules is on a tear. Look out for Giuliano against the Binghamton Black Bears.
Yeah, no, I mean, I regardless, you said it with your chest. I like your honesty, Parker. I like
Dude,
it.
I feel bad. Like, I will
This
be
weekend.
the happiest man alive if you guys prove me wrong.
Yeah, and hey, at the end of the day, when you're in a position like that, that's all we want is to be proven wrong. And at the end of the day, too, it also shows, you know, I'm going to go back to this word. We're an honesty pod. We're not one of those people, like, you know, to kind of keep it in Detroit terms. We're not like how many people were for the Pistons when they were on a 28-game losing streak of being like, oh, well, this looks like it could be a winner tonight. You're going up against the Nuggets. Be realistic. It ain't happening, Chief, all right? So it's like, hey, we're being honest to ourselves, all right? Because, you know, a lot of these teams within the Motor City, to be completely honest, they get a little ahead of themselves there in terms of being like, you know, oh, we can win it. Pistons stink. But guess what? We're not the Pistons. We're the Rockers. And the Rockers are going to have a great weekend, in my opinion. Regardless of what Parker's prediction was, we still get a win. And like I said, 2-0, hippie. We're coming in next Tuesday. We're going to be screaming, you know, Jumbaya, whatever, Kumbaya, there it is. And then, you know, 1-1, we'll take it because a win's a win nonetheless. And it's better than how last weekend went. 0-2, then we're that British screaming cop, you know, or whatever. Going back to him. Or the astronaut up in space or whatnot. Or
Exactly.
the many personas he has. But those are our predictions, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait.
I was going to send the floor over to you, but now the floor is yours.
No, I took it. Grabbed it. $2 beer night.
$2
Friday.
beer night.
Against the Columbus River Dragons. $2 beer nights in a row where we had the same opponent.
Ooh, I like that. And throwback night Saturday?
And throwback night Thursday. The day before this, you probably saw a funny post. We threw it back with the players to see what they looked like back in the day.
And we like to know that. And I mean, hey, come on out. Wear your best 70s attire, 80s attire, 90s attire. Because, I mean, although we weren't alive for it, kind of crazy that 90s were 30 years ago. Not to make any people feel old out there, but...
Friday and Saturday, we have a couple of extra promotions going on top of $2 beer night and throwback night. For example, one of them is Pet Appreciation Night. So you can... Let me get the exact numbers.
Shout out pets. If you have any pets, shout out you. If you don't,
Sponsored by Pet Supplies Plus, of course.
go adopt.
That's
Go
where
adopt.
I go. That's the only place I go to wash my dog.
Yeah.
I don't go in my own bathtub. They have premier pet washing facilities, one of a kind.
And take it from someone that does wash your dog in their tub. It's a mess.
It's a
after.
mess.
Granted, I have a short hair miniature dachshund, but even still, that little dog can pack a punch. With
They
the
clean
hair.
that. They clean that for you.
Exactly.
But for Pet
nothing I gotta worry
Appreciation
about.
Night, you can receive up to $5 off your ticket, $1 off for each item. You can bring pet food, litter supplies, towels,
Toys.
rags, pet toys,
Okay.
whatever you want. Donate those to us. That is going to go out to a rejoiceful animal rescue, a great animal rescue. You guys have probably seen those all over our social media. We've gone there a couple times. That is for Saturday, March 30th, as well as Pet Appreciation Night. I've already mentioned $2 beer night. You can also do Student Rush. Student Rush is a buy one, get one. Only 40 tickets are available for that for each game. You can buy one ticket for $18, get one for free for all students. All you have to do is bring your student ID. It can be high school, it can be middle school, it can be college. And if you're even a master's student, we will give you that buy one, get one discount. And who doesn't like free tickets after who doesn't like a buy one, get one? I like a buy one, get one. I always go to Bed Bath & Beyond with my sister, and she loves that.
Oh, yeah.
Get like the 2 hand sanitizers, buy one, get one free.
Yeah. There's 2 words. There's 2 4-letter words in this world that mean the most to everybody: love and free.
And there's 4 letters that everybody loves: buy one, get one.
Oh, that's this man right here. I mean, that was slick. That was slick, Parker. Holy shit. No, listen to this man, guys. Don't listen to me out here. I'm talking about love, and he's out here buy one, get one. Oh, God. That was slick. Oh,
And
that was
then
slick.
Every Friday is Hometown Heroes Night. As you're watching this today, everybody that has a badge, police, ambulance, firefighter, who else has a badge? I guess teachers also have a badge. Bring your badge in. You will get another buy one, get one free, presented to you by Genesis Credit Union. So come on down. As like I said earlier, who doesn't like buy one, get one?
Exactly. And that's why he's the hardest working man in the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, it just
for
comes
stuff
off the
like
dome.
that. I'm out here thinking very basic. 4-letter words: love, free. Parker's like, no. Acronyms. You gotta think in the acronym atmosphere here. Do you have anything else before we head out of here?
Do we have anything else? Oh, specialty warm-up jerseys for Pet Appreciation Night.
Ooh, I like that. And just
made by Taylor L. Smith herself.
And just a little disclaimer, I feel like we'd have to throw it out there because some people might think, no pets allowed, correct?
No pets allowed,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yeah, just had a, because I wouldn't doubt it if there was anyone that'd walk in and you see, little Fido walking around thinking, I don't think he's supposed to be here.
Yeah, sorry, but we unfortunately cannot due to rink policy.
Yes, unfortunately, but maybe one day.
Bring your dogs, I guess we'll change it that way.
the great dog revolution of 2024.
We revolt.
Before we head out, even in general, not even hockey saying, you got anything to throw out there? Opening day baseball's this Thursday. Technically yesterday, if you're thinking on it. Go Tigers. Go Dodgers. But thank you, like I said earlier in the show, 5-star it, thumbs up, subscribe, tell your grandma to do it. Thank you, and we will be back next week. Cheers.